guys, so welcome to a weird video. So last week in my vlog I filmed a Q&A, but my vlog was too long to put the Q&A in. It was already 40 minutes and I didn't want to go over 40 minutes, so I thought I'd make a separate video of my Q&A from last week. So it's only 3 questions, but I do ramble on a bit, but I thought it was quite interesting of the story of the why that I don't think I've actually properly told, like sat down and told the why of I want to do this. So there's also some fun questions as well. I will let Past Kelly continue on, and I hope you enjoy this. I'll see you in a while once you get through this video. So I put a little question box on, I think it was Tuesday, on my Instagram stories, asking if anyone had any questions for a little mini Q&A for this video. I think I've talked a lot, but I don't think I've done anything. So I thought we could have a little chatty situation happening. So my first question, I've only got 3 questions, but I still thought I should still do this and still answer the questions. I have not thought about these questions at all, so completely improvised answers here to completely keep it real, because I actually forgot to film this. I just ended the vlog and I completely forgot about this, so here we go. So first question, what made you want to set up your small business? So actually yesterday I posted a photo of myself on my grid on Instagram, and I explained a little bit about why I decided to do this, why I'm here. First thing is I love it. I love stationery. I always have since I was a little girl, always. And being able to make it means, well, I grew up not being able to buy every single piece of stationery I wanted, of course. So I ended up finding a way of getting the stationery I wanted without spending money, or as much money, was to make it myself. So I used to make a lot of stationery when I was little, and I have made planners before, and my boyfriend still has my first ever planner I made back in like 2014 or something like that. So it's been a journey in terms of my passion for stationery, but the reason I decided to open a shop was actually for another reason. So I watch Emily Harvey Hart, of course. I'm one of her Patreons, and I've been in the Hearts Market and all the stuff that's happened this week as well that I've told you about. Well, she kind of inspired me. I already watched Catnip, and is what made me fall in love with wanting to open a shop in the first place. When I first did this in 2020, didn't work out. We're past it now, and I took that as a learning curve. I completely took like years off. My life completely changed. Pandemic changed everything, and I'm a different person now. I've been through a lot, and the biggest thing I went through was realizing that if I want the family that I want and that I truly want in my life, I can't do the job I do. So I grew up with both my parents working a lot, hours, ridiculous hours. Both my parents worked completely full-time at their business that we had in the UK, that was basically a cafe during the day and a restaurant during the night, and I hardly saw them. It's honest, we've gone completely past that now. They're like, my parents are like my best friends now. But it was a lot growing up without seeing them, and I had my nan, and that's why my nan was the most important thing to me when I was a kid. Sadly, she passed away. But basically, when I finally realised, it kind of just hit me in a wave that I really wanted a family. I really want a family. And I really want a family with my boyfriend. And we've been talking about this for years. But it kind of hit us with a bit of reality of, how can this happen? How can we get to a point where we can be a happy family? And things like that. Especially it was like getting Theo and things like that. We learned a lot about each other and dealing with situations together. And kind of realised that my job means I'm going to be like my parents were to me. I'm a restaurant manager. The restaurant is 7 months a year, but it's during those 7 months it doesn't stop. I don't have time. Like, I already find it difficult to do this, let alone be a mum and do this. So, like, being a mum is such a big job. And I'm freaking scared for that job, but it seems like a challenge for me in a way. Like, I want to be a really good mum, and I think I can be, but if I'm at the restaurant, I can't be. I can't be the mum I want to be. So I know I'm really thinking this very far ahead, but in my life I kind of have to. And things kind of have to get planned. So yeah, I kind of made a deal with my dad that I was going to put all of my efforts into the restaurant for 5 years. This was last year, so we're kind of on like 4.5 years right now. And basically I'm putting all my faith in the restaurant. That's why I'm now a partner. I work ridiculous hours, and I do a lot more than I've ever done before because I'm fighting for these 5 years. So during these 5 years is where this shop the idea is to slowly grow. That I'm very aware things don't happen overnight, and this is why I've kind of prepared the 5-year plan, is so that there's kind of like a fade over between the two. And it also gives my dad a chance to kind of possibly retire as well. That if I stayed there, I know my dad would never leave, because me and him, we work so well, and would always try and do anything to stay if I was staying. So us both having these kind of endpoints make the journey better and make the journey easier. Knowing that there is an end means you can enjoy the moments and you can appreciate the moments more. And it gives me a chance to be able to grow something that's completely mine, that is not given by my parents. It's not necessarily given what I have at the restaurant. I work freaking hard for it. Ridiculously hard. I fight for my opinions. I fight for the things to happen how I wish they'd happen, and just because it's from my parents doesn't mean I'm not worthy, and I'm not spoiled or anything. I've freaking worked hard all my life. I've been working since I was 14. This has gotten very honest all of a sudden, but I want to be a present mum. That is the biggest goal in my life, is I really want to be present, and I know my boyfriend does as well. So yeah, kind of the biggest reason I'm doing this, so I can be a present mum. So in 5 years' time, this is working well enough to keep me going financially, with the help of my boyfriend, of course, but also gives me time to be at home, to be present, to always be there. I can't not have a job. I'm just not that kind of person to not have a job. It freaks me out on not having something. I know being a mum is a complete job in itself, but who I am and how creative I am, I still need to continue having those outlets. So that's where the shop comes in. It's a slow burner, this one, and I'm prepared for it to be a slow burner. I kind of hope it to be a slight slow burner. Like, you can go up a little bit now and then you can chill, keep it going, keep it... Okay, I think we're done with that very deep question that took me 8 minutes to answer. How do you keep inspired to create? I wish I knew. I honestly wish I knew. A lot of times I fade around with my inspiration and my motivation. That comes with the ADHD. It's like, if my hyperfocus is off and I'm hyper-focusing on something different, forget it. There's no way I can get my brain to think of this kind of stuff. Which is why right now doing the menus is very difficult for me. My brain really doesn't want to do them, but I need to do them. But I really want to go and draw. So, when ADHD comes in the mix with inspiration and motivation, everything gets a bit of a black cloud, and kind of just, you don't understand anything. But there are things I like to do to try and trigger me to get inspired. Watching creators and people that have studio vlogs, that is one of my biggest inspiration, and it helps a lot. I'm a Patreon of a couple of people. I'm Emily's Patreon and Rebel Jones's Patreon. They help me a lot to get inspired when I see their content and I'm listening to their podcasts and things like that. Having other people in the community does inspire me. And then Instagram, my Instagram feed, going through that. TikTok, not so much. But also Pinterest is a big inspiration from when it comes to trying to get some kind of idea. Like I may know like a vibe I want to go down or something. I will go on my Pinterest and I'll just add things to my mood board and then just leave it there. I normally just go through, get a bit of inspiration, leave all the stuff there, and then come back to it with a clear head, just to try and figure out more what I wanted to do when I wasn't in the inspiration cloud, which is a position where I get in sometimes. Is just when I'm inspired, all I want to do is everything. That's a kind of ADHD thing, is all or nothing. So in those moments, all of those ideas are not necessarily good ones. So it kind of like, it's like a cloudy inspiration. With Pinterest, me just saving the things, kind of leaving it and then coming back, gives me chance to kind of reevaluate those ideas or then re-inspire myself on, but something more exact and concrete that I can then recreate or put my twist on it and design and get the idea out of the head onto paper. The last question we have is, what is your usual studio soundtrack, genres and artists? Kat asked me this, a very similar question, on one of my reels this week. You're quite cheeky, aren't you, Kat? You now found a way for me to tell you all my high school kind of playlists, artists. So music is a weird one for me. I have a lot of nostalgic music. I don't necessarily listen to much new stuff. It is all very much pop kind of stuff. There is a little bit of rock, a little bit of alternative, very little anymore. When I was younger, there was a lot more of all the other stuff. My favourite artists are Imagine Dragons, Ed Sheeran, Harry Styles. I'm very basic, I'm very aware of this. There are also a couple of Portuguese artists that I really like, Os Quatro e Meia, Carolão, things like that. And when it comes to while I'm in the studio, I sometimes put on a lo-fi chill playlist when I'm editing. That helps because there's no words to confuse my brain and distract me. But when I want to get cleaning, I always go for something more upbeat. When I'm feeling randomly nostalgic, I go back to a very high school self and listen to a very famous band in the around 2012. I'm just not going to name any names, but when I feel nostalgic, I definitely go listen to that. But I do keep it kind of simple mainstream stuff. I'm not really the person to listen to out of this world stuff, but definitely Imagine Dragons is always an easy go-to. And I have playlists that I literally have multiple playlists that are 24 hours long, just of loads of songs that remind me of moments. Because I also grew up with a lot of listening to a lot of music my parents listened to, so a lot of stuff from the 80s and early 90s, I grew up listening to that. I have a very nostalgic in my heart of very early 2000s music, a little bit of S Club 7, a little bit of Robbie Williams, a little bit of Take That. Sometimes I go, mostly it's always nostalgic music, so things that bring me joy, that give me going, they give me focus, they get my executive functioning. Okay, future Kelly back again. I hope you enjoyed this little Q&A. I can't remember anything I said now because I did that mid last week. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll probably enjoy editing it because I can't remember what I filmed. And well, we'll be back here on Sunday with a brand new vlog. Now, I'll give you a little sneak peek on what we made this week. Oh, that rhymed! So we actually made something that is an apparel product. What's this? Oh. Yeah. Okay, if you want to see how we do this and want to see more about it, come back on Sunday with the new studio vlog, and I will catch you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and well, I'll see you Sunday. Bye.